raising awareness through every track. All-Star PD Sportscast on the rise, shouting loud, reaching the skies. Can't stop, won't stop, our game is strong, fighting Parkinson's all day long. Tim's charm shines bright, George's wisdom in every fight. Together we'll find a cure for Parkinson's that we'll endure. In the field, on the court, we'll never come up short. With every goal, every shot, we'll make Parkinson's ass quite hot. All-Star PD Sportscast on the rise, shouting loud, reaching the skies. Can't stop, won't stop, our game is strong, fighting Parkinson's all day long. In the field, on the court, we'll never come up short. With every goal, every shot, we'll make Parkinson's ass quite hot. All-Star PD Sportscast.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, sports fans, too. This show is dedicated to all the sports heroes, fans, and lovers like us out there. This is the first episode, kind of an introduction to the All-Star PD Sportscast, featuring myself, Sharon, son George, and my great friend Tim. You can see on the other side of the world, but we're zooming in together as family as always. We're going to really take this opportunity in this show to cover something that both of us think is not just important, but we're really not aware enough about, and that's sports and the progression of Parkinson's disease. So I'm going to throw it to my co-host Tim, and he's going to shout out and start us off on a little bit of an introduction of our show.
George, my friend, my brother, how are you today? I thank you so much for this wonderful idea. I think this is going to be so great. Just getting a chance to chat with you more, chatting about the world of sports, how we can introduce that into the world of Parkinson's, and just show the impact of how sports has on Parkinson's as far as the physical aspect of it. And quite frankly, I speak from experience, the mental aspect of it as well. And I think that's important for people to realize.
Yeah, I agree. I think that sports really, not even just for Parkinson, but for all our own mental health, can kind of steal us away from our lives for a few moments and bring us into the world of sports. Oddly enough, my background is I'm an attorney, but I have a master's degree in sports administration. I taught it as a professor at Rutgers University and other schools, but I always wanted to kind of take that knowledge, but add the fun to it. And that's what I'm excited to do together. You're a big name in the Parkinson's community, a lovable name. I love seeing all your work, and I figured what better way than to kind of work together even more, and then also represent our favorite things. And also this side, but there you go, Parkinson's, because that always comes first.
Absolutely.
Also, as a lawyer, we're not representing the NBA. We're just promoting sports. So please join on board. I hope we get an opportunity to bring a few guests. It's going to be more like we agreed to us talking. I'm excited. Even I would say we didn't have this show just a month ago with the NBA, women's sports, basketball, men's, and all the so many sports, the Paralympics, Olympics, and also the just overall NBA just starting up in a few months. I know you were excited too. NFL just kicked off, so this is going to be exciting.
Well, you know what I think too, George? I think that a lot of times people associate certain names with the Parkinson's world. I mean, we know about the Michael J. Foxes, but even from a sports world, you have your Muhammad Ali's, your Brian Grants, your Kirk Gibsons. But for every Muhammad Ali, there's a Steve Ludzik that people have not heard of, who's an NHL player. For every Brian Grant, there's a Roger Bannister, who is an athlete who ran the first person to run the mile in under 4 minutes. And I think it's important to bring a lot of those people, their stories to light. And not only that, but even local athletes. I mean, they might not have the name, but they could discuss how Parkinson's affects their life and how it affects their athleticism and quite frankly, the struggles that they have and how it helps them with it as well. I think there's a lot of stories that need to be told that you and I are going to get to it at some point, for sure.
I agree, and I love just what you've already done. And everyone, please follow us on the All-Star PD Sportscast on Instagram. Tim's done an incredible job. Honestly, I just looked at it a few days ago and didn't realize half the people had Parkinson's. And when you mentioned it, I reached out to Bernie Kosar, our NFL legend, and he's actually we're in discussions to him to hopefully someday come on the show. he's definitely on board. Unfortunately, he has Parkinson's, so he's a Parkinson's warrior. But honestly, I didn't even know that he had it. So,
I know.
encourage everyone to reach out to him. He's a great support. He sent a message on both of our behalf. It's up there, out there in the social media world, but to be able to discuss a little bit more in depth on the NFL or even how he's doing today, going through the battle of Parkinson's would pretty much be very cool.
I agree. And I'll tell you what, what people don't realize too is even not that we're experts by any means, but they're kind of getting both sides of the coin with you and I. I mean, you know what it's like to be with your mom to be a caregiver. I know what it's like to live the daily struggles of Parkinson's. And I think we come at it from both angles, intelligently. And just coming at it from the world of sports. I mean, I can speak from experience. Listen, I have found that in this Parkinson's struggle, the one thing that always rings true is the effects it has on stress has on it and your mind. And I put a post on our Instagram page about I could not wait. I'm very big into fantasy football. And for those of you who don't know what that is, you have a draft and you kind of manage your own team in the fantasy world and you pick players, and you in essence are your own manager of a team. But you know what it does? It takes my mind off it for a couple of months because every day I'm looking at stats and can I make a trade with somebody? And it's just another hobby where granted, what we want to do is stay active, and I understand that, but it keeps my brain active. It keeps me away from thinking about the downfalls and the struggles of the disease I have. And I think sports, as well as many other things in life, do that. And that's why I think this is important. Not so much to show how sports can help the progression, stop the progression of Parkinson's as far as the athleticism, but I think that we're underestimating how important it is just to forget about life for a little while and just to, if they could sign on our page and watch our video, watch our podcast, and even just a sports nut, just to forget about to de-stress a little bit, I think is very important, and people forget that aspect of it.
Yeah, and so much too, even going back, we'll probably will to our childhood. I mean, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. The biggest thing in my life was memorabilia. I mean, I could probably bring some of it out, but we had every baseball Hall of Fame autographed, like baseball. And I went to Cooperstown Hall of Fame, New York, seeing Reggie Jackson initiated or inducted. And then from that to collecting every LeBron sneaker, which I'll bring. I'm size 15. You might be even like bigger size sneaker, but it'll probably take the whole screen. So next time, maybe, depending what sport, hopefully we'll, everyone listening, cover one sport each time. And guess what? We could always revisit the same sport. It just kind of want to go through the whole cycle and hit them all. Like Tim said, I'm an expert more in basketball, but not football. But obviously, as a kid, I had every Madden football game. So we could even talk about video games someday.
Yeah.
Getting unfortunately to the age and time where I didn't really recover from 4 back surgeries. So Sunday mornings, I used to run a group of 50 guys, and I was one of the best ones because I love basketball. But now I find myself not being able to do it, but talking about it is still pretty incredible. And having the opportunity to sit with you, in these short clips, we'll do a few, hopefully a month. It's going to be very exciting and just so much happening. And in the world of sports, every day things are changing.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you a quick funny story. And I know we were going to get into stories today, but just very briefly, my first encounter with Parkinson's, believe it or not, was Muhammad Ali. I just like you, was huge into memorabilia. When my first son was born, I was going to a memorabilia show and I was waiting in line for Muhammad Ali. I had number 7, the ticket number 7 of 250. So I said, "Oh, we're going to be out of here pretty quick." But because of the way he signed so slow, it took an hour. But I will tell you that when we got up to him, he got up very slow because of the bradykinesia, and he said, "Can I hold your son?" And he was literally holding my first son, and I'll put a picture on our Instagram of like Lion King, and he kissed him on his forehead and shaking. And I don't think until that moment I didn't realize the effects, the physical effects of what Parkinson's can do to somebody. So that's why, again, not to hammer down the mental aspect of it, but getting out, staying active, and doing whatever you can to combat this. Sports for men or women is going to be an athleticism, and just being active is going to be very, very huge. And that's part of what we want to bring to this show.
Yeah, I love that story. I would like to talk a lot of stories because maybe we could try and share those photos. But I remember my father was an actual team physician for the New York Islanders when they won all the Stanley Cups. Now, I was so small, I don't remember, but we actually met him, Mike Bossy and Nystrom, at different card shows in New York. And my father's the one who reconstructed their noses One of them remember, the others probably didn't remember, but things like that. Or at one time in college, I was actually on the sports section of the newspaper for Florida Atlantic University. And that was a great opportunity because it got me right in the door into the locker room to a lot of sports
Sure.
agencies. And I did an internship at a college for sports marketing, but I actually think I might have told you I saw Jerry Maguire and I wanted to be a sports lawyer. I ended up driving down as a young guy to every major sports team in South Florida, but it was very hard to get in the door. So I ended up going into law enforcement, but that was my first passion. And one more quick story that I love, and it's funny to look back, is I was in the locker room with Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat many years ago when they were like probably 1996, and I got to sit backstage in the locker room with Shaquille while he was getting dressed, and it was weird because I'm like, I don't know why I'm in here, but it was just, and this is when he was on Orlando Magic, so that's
That's
a long
amazing.
time. So those are the kind of fun. And now there's a show on Netflix if everyone watches, and it actually talks about it's like a whole series. I don't know if you saw it yet, Tim, but it shows it's about sports memorabilia, and it's incredible how much of a business it is. And just the other day, bought my children. I have two boys and a girl. But the two boys, I bought them a little. I'll have to show it to you. But first binder, and I bought them a pack of each type of sport cards, and
I love it.
they don't know
Absolutely.
they don't really understand it, but at least they get a little bit of what we grew up. It's not the same today, I guess, at least where I'm in Florida. But growing up in Brooklyn's a lot more sports oriented.
Right.
South Florida is, but I don't know how much it hits like the home like it did in New York.
I would agree. But listen, that's all part of what we're going to do. And
Yeah.
like I said, especially for somebody like myself who struggles daily with this disease, I love the fact now that this has given us a little job. I mean, I'm going to have to look at sports every day and analyze, and we're going to have to watch movies and have things to talk about. And I absolutely love it. Um, I'm blessed to have met you in my life through this disease. Unfortunately, it wasn't on better terms, but we're brothers, and I cannot wait to get into this show, and it's going to be so great.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is there's so much to talk about. We'll never, in 15 minutes, it'll be, interesting, but that means there'll be so many more topics to cover. And, it's just really exciting. I'm just, NBA starting soon. I don't miss a Laker game. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm just a LeBron fan. And
I'm a
maybe not out of the court. I don't follow him, but on the court, I'm kind of worried because my whole life I watched basketball, a big fan, New York Knicks, and then for 10 years, for some reason, I kind of just went to law school. I was busy and never watched sports. And then I was flipping through the channel, and all of a sudden, I see this guy. His name's LeBron James, and he hit the half court shot during one of the playoffs against the Spurs, and it was something for some reason that I clicked from that day on. I never missed a game that he was ever in, and we got to see him a few times here in Miami. But that was another funny story. We paid so much money for second or third row, courtside almost in the Heat when Bosh, LeBron, and Wade were playing, and I was so excited, my wife and I. So a week before the game, I think Bosh got hurt. Then LeBron the night before was benched for the playoffs were coming. And then Wade, the first play, jammed his finger. So we got to spend all this money and we didn't see any of them play. So I stared there for 2 hours, staring at the back of LeBron's head.
oh,
Thinking, this is terrible. We never won again. But
he
those
was.
are the funny stories that you don't forget.
Well, listen, the only question I have for you, you said you wanted to be Jerry Maguire. How many did you walk in and go, show me the money?
Yeah, not at this point. The problem is I'm not a great mathematician, so it's probably better off. My wife and I talked, should we go into real estate? Because Florida, it's like gold mine, but the math just didn't work out for me. So, but sports, I mean, I love your hat and your clothes. Every show, hopefully I'm lined up and ready to go.
We will be,
Be
100%.
exciting. We do have to get on the same page for the shows, and we'll try to both. I have some Dolphin stuff too. So we're in South Florida. We went to a Dolphin game last season. It was so hot, and there's two sides of the stadium. One side is shade and one isn't. So my family, I brought my little kids for the first time, I'd say, and I had a broken ankle. So we were driving around, walking miles, like literally, Tim, 5 miles to the dome. Second we got there, after 3 minutes, we went home. It was just, we couldn't, it was a disaster. So, these are the things.
A lot of people don't realize this. That was built by design that way because they wanted the home team, the Dolphins, to be playing in the shade
Yeah.
and
Well,
teams to be